Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations, Stufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming to you with another special presentation. Moving full speed ahead, talking to some very interesting people, getting to know them and their stories. It's been quite a journey. And today I have someone that you need to meet. This person is a model, content creator, Virgo, son of love, sex, and beauty. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you Coran, the son of Aphrodite. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I am great, actually. I am in a really good spirit.
Yeah. Well, guess what? The first thing you have to do is tell us how you came up with the name Coran, son of Aphrodite. I mean, you're a Virgo, so I do understand the Aphrodite reference, but tell us.
I love Greek mythology, and I always loved Athena and Aphrodite. Those are my favorites, and I am a very self-aware person. So the name, Greek mythology, and then me being a Virgo, of course, it just made sense. I was trying to find something that made sense as far as me and who I am and what I'm trying to display, and I feel like that best summed it up.
I get along very well with Virgo, so you have no problem. I'm a Libra. So
yeah, we love Libras.
Yeah, we're the Venus children. So yeah, under Aphrodite. So we're gonna get along.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you decide to coin that name for your brand?
Because I was really trying to decide what best described me. And I used to go by another name, Cameron, and I loved it, but it was more so a childhood name and it didn't really fit what I was trying to do as a whole. Okay. So I started to think about it and brainstorm, and it just came about. I just thought about it. At first I was just writing it here and there, and then somebody, actually my best friend, was like, you should actually make that your name. So that's what made me actually go forward and make it my actual name, because it started to have a little ring to it, and now people see me and they say that. So I love that.
I like it too. It's very catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very catchy. My name, the Queen of Shade, my trademark, my grandmother named me. She was in her hospital bed at that time, and I'm like, I need a name, and she's like, you're gonna be the Queen of Shade, and I'm like, and when you hear that, it's like, you got to slay. You can't be called the Queen of Shade and be mediocre.
So, yeah, you got to do things with conviction with that name.
Yeah. So, and I did. And you know what's so funny? It was a big name in the beginning, but I lived into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like that's what I'm doing now. I feel like I'm embracing it.
Yeah.
I'm embracing it. So I'm excited about that.
It's gonna take you far. So it said you're a model, video creator. You got a lot of stuff going on. So is it safe to say that you're an artist?
Yes.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
Tell us what forms of art draw you.
Forms of art.
When
since I was a kid, I was always inspired by abstract paintings, Picasso, pop culture references. I was heavily big on fashion, even as a kid. My mom always bought me fashion magazines and Vogue and stuff like that. So I always loved the combination between art and fashion, and how they have this weird position with one another. So that was always something I was really, really interested to. But like I said, Pablo Picasso, Frida Kahlo, people like that have also then I also love poetry, different types of art as well too, have always kind of inspired me. So it's not just physical art, is more so reading and things like that too. So I think it all ties into me.
I'm into all types of art too, but I love physical art, especially Black and Latin men. Aren't they so beautiful?
Beautiful, yes. Black art is one of my favorite sub-eras, yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. I hear it. You're so polished. And it's so funny. And I already know, but the reason why I'm getting ready to ask you this is because, well, I already know, but you live in one of the #1 cities in the world for fashion.
Hmm.
Please tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from New York City, the Big Apple.
Yeah. And have you been there all your life?
Yes, I lived in Atlanta for a year.
Yeah.
That was my first time moving outside of New York or in general. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm born and raised from New York.
Yeah. What did you go to Atlanta for?
I was in a relationship at the time, and we had moved down there with each other.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So relationships took you to Atlanta. Did you like it?
No.
Okay. You know what? No, because I knew you were going to say that because like we Northerners, we try, but
Yeah, I did try, and I adjusted too. That's one thing about me. I adjust very quickly. I just need to find out what's for me and what's not for me, and then I'm fine. But Atlanta is a very different kind of vibe. And I feel like if you're not into that specific kind of vibe, then it's not the place for you. You're more so who's like laid back and chill and you don't really like to, then New York or anywhere else will probably be the way for you.
yeah, it's something. No, it's something. I have a huge following in Atlanta, and I know they hate it when I say I don't particularly care for that city. But like it's just, but I do work there. Like I in 2018, I recorded my debut album there. So I've been, and my producer, and her girlfriend at the time, they used to drive me through all of the beautiful like neighborhoods with all the big houses and things like that. And I saw them and I love that because I love real estate. So that was nice. But I'm the type of person where I'm a city boy. I'm a city boy. You see that
Same.
I'm a transillusionist, but I like out of this, I will always be a city boy at heart. I'm from Philadelphia, so I'm not that far from the city. As I said to you before, my boyfriend lives in New York. So I'm just a city boy. Like even when I travel abroad, I love the city of Paris. There's so many, there's a lot of, countryside and things like that. And I plan to have a home in the countryside, but I will have a luscious pad right in the city because
Same.
I love being able to walk out my door and get like and see everybody, walk
Right. And get
by,
where you gotta go and
yeah,
right.
and get to the store walking. I don't have to get in the car and drive 20 minutes. Like that's what it was. It was expansive and everything was spread out. And I'm just like, but my producer in Atlanta's favor, my producer lived outside of Atlanta. She lived like I think like a couple of towns over. So she wasn't in Atlanta, which is why we had to drive. But I did love the real estate. The real estate was pretty.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford it at that time. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. I couldn't afford it, but even then I was still bougie. Like if I had money, I wouldn't live over here.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
so
Atlanta gives that. Atlanta gives that.
yeah, they do have beautiful real estate. But yeah, I just never, you know what it was, and I'll just keep going. I never, all Black situations always meant danger for me. Because I'm very effeminate, even out of this. I've been cross-dressing since I was 8, but like all Black situations, they always lead to some kind of damage done to me. So,
Right.
and this is the thing, I'll be 40 in September. The reason why I avoid them, yeah, I know, pick up your jaw, it's okay.
It's a blessing.
Yes.
That's a blessing.
It's a blessing, yes it is. So I'll be 40 in September, but now I'm such, I don't want to use the word aggressive, but I'm a fully formed man, which means you're not about to disrespect me and not catch these hands.
On God.
Or what's in my pocket.
God,
like, and get it. I don't want any kind of trouble because, and I'm gonna just be honest, I can say this because to be quite frankly, when there's Black on Black crime, they don't ask who was the assailant. They just take us both.
Yeah, they assume
Yes.
both parties had something to do
Yes.
with it. Both parties were aggressive.
They just take us both. So I'm not I can't even defend myself and not still spend some time in jail. So I was like, you know what? Let me just stay away from these areas. And Black people have always been, there's always been this level of, oh, you think you're better than us. Oh, you think you're something. And I'm like, I started in the projects. I just applied myself in school.
School, right?
I learned.
That's all.
You know, and many of them, they made it to college just like I did, and they still were. We were all in college the same way. You got in like I got in. We had to take the same boards to get in. Like, why do you feel like I think I'm better than myself? And then I realized better than you. And then I realized growing up, because I matured very late in life, I realized you don't think, it's not that I think I'm better than you.
You think I'm better than you, right?
Yes. And then I started to realize that. And then it was like, okay. And then I would kind of like just stay away. And that's my thing. Doing all of this, my life has turned around. I have a beautiful career and I stay to myself. I'm very, very limited with who's in my environment. You know,
Same.
because I'm a focused boy. I'm a focused boy. I know what I want to do and I do it. So, okay. So let's get into schooling. Have you gone to college or was the workforce something you wanted to just do?
Graduated from high school, of course,
Okay.
but college was, when I was in high school, I wanted to go to college so bad. I used to want to go to college for mortuary science.
Right.
Originally, it wasn't even in fashion at first. It was,
Right.
and mind you, that was my major in high school. But once I was there, I was like, I want to study mortuary science, and
Right.
I want to learn how you do this for dead people. And I was so like glued on that. And then I graduated high school, and did not want to go to college at all.
It
I like
happens.
realized what it was to be an adult and like freedom and nobody telling me what and how to do it. And I just kind of was like, if school happens, it'll happen. Not right now. I don't want to do that. And then I started to get into modeling and like start working and things like that. And I always kind of wanted to be like a guy who had a career.
Yeah.
So I never really seen like schooling for a long period of time a part of that journey. I just knew like find something that you like and ink to it and then sink into it, adjust to it, and then make it your own. And that's exactly what I did. So that was more so my road and things like that. I did not want to attend college.
Well,
Not at all.
Well, don't worry, because I'm one of those people that can tell you that I attended college and I had to leave, medical withdrawal, but you don't need a college degree to be successful in this world. And
Right. Yeah, I've known that for quite a long time now.
Yeah. That's always good to remember, that you don't need a college degree. It's kind of funny because everybody that works with me, works for me, they have college degrees. I'm the only one without one. So for a long time it bothered me, and now at 40 it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. Shit, I'm almost 30 and it does
Yeah.
not bother me at all.
Yeah.
Thank God, I've had a lot of jobs that most people would say, no, that doesn't happen at all. I've worked at Gucci. I've been a visual merchandiser for Target. Like I've done big things for me to be so young. So I appreciate that because a lot of people don't get those opportunities. So I never take them for granted. But I do know that I put in work for those.
Yeah.
So everything I got was not handed to me. I earned it. So
You know what?
I appreciate that.
You know what, too? You're also in a city that recognizes talent. So like New York, there's more opportunity there to get in there and do stuff like that. I remember I worked in a mall years ago before I went to Paris at 22. I was probably 20. And I came in as an operations manager, like from the floor, like from the door, operations manager, and then got into the art displays in the windows and things like that. And I loved fashion. I love clothes, but I didn't really like the displays because I didn't like what they were putting on the mannequins. I didn't like. I was like, this is not taste. Like this is
same.
Not, yeah.
Same.
So yeah, like I'm one of those people where I will take a display in a window, and I will put a trash bag on the model, cinch it, put belts on it, all kinds of
make it work.
Yeah, rip the trash bag a couple of places. Like claw marks. I love fashion. And that's the thing. And I saw that voyaging to Europe. So backtracking a little bit. Are you an only child?
I am the youngest of three.
Okay.
I'm the baby. Okay. I'm the first boy in my family within now going on 30 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. So you have a family full of strong Black women.
Yes.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful because I know that automatically, because I know how Black women are. Shout out to Black women. I know they all mothered you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Even down to my nieces. I have two nieces that I always tell the story. People always laugh like, how? But I have two nieces that are actually, one is my age, but she's older than me. And then I have another one, she's 33.
Yeah.
So she's 35 now. So they always look at me like, how are you an uncle? And I'm like, my mom and my sister were pregnant at the same time. That's the only way I can sum it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was raised
Yeah.
around a lot of strong women, opinionated, motherly. I think that's probably why I'm so nurturing. And I'm like real like, oh, are you okay? And how's everything? And as sweet as I can be. So I think that's exactly probably where I get it from.
That's good. That's good. So do you feel that in your family, you had to be the protector of all the girls?
No. As a
Okay.
kid, I did not feel like that.
Okay.
As I got older, I more so developed those feelings. Like maybe I should be this type of person and maybe I should be like this more so. But as a kid, no. Like
Okay.
I never had that type of pressure. My mother always, for the most part, she always put the pressure on me to just be a kid. So
Oh,
she never put the pressure on me to feel like I needed to be the man of the house or telling people what to, or whatever the case is. It was just be a kid, go to school, get good grades, play with your toys, go outside, listen when I asked you to. Those are the only things that I had to live up to. So I appreciate that.
that's kind of crazy. We share that in common. My grandmother, who I am still with to this day, we're best friends. She did encourage me to just be a boy. And I used to get kind of upset about it because my sister, I told you I've been a crossdresser since I was 8. I'm the oldest of 4 children. So my sister is 2 years younger than me. I always was upset because my sister got all the care. And of course, I didn't want to wear dresses back then. Well, I was wearing dresses back then in private, my sister's dresses. But anyway, that's a long story, another story. But what it was my grandmother would kind of let me be more scraggly, if you understand what I'm saying, more messy. My hair wasn't always kept. I was allowed to kind of be wild and run around, and I hated it. I wanted to be prim and proper and put together. And when I entered high school, I was able to make that happen. I was very devout. I was very religious. I didn't curse. And I was very proper, but I always was very envious of my sister because she always had attention. She always had someone caring for her. Somebody was buying her pretty little socks or, doing all of those things. And now the tables have turned. Now she's telling everybody, that's my brother. That's my brother. Queen of Shade is my brother. Queen of Shade is my brother. And I'm like, listen here, I have no affiliations with you.
I love that.
Yeah. So doing that, going, like we say, moving on, career. What do you like to do for fun? Like what, because New York, and the reason why I'm asking, New York, you can get into everything. So my thing is, what I'm looking for is I want to know, okay, so fashion. So is it the ballroom scene? Is it, do you?
Yeah, I participate in the ballroom scene.
Okay.
I participate in the ballroom scene from time to time. I wore Pretty Boy Realness.
Okay.
I've been doing that since I was about like 15.
Okay. Wow.
So it's been it's been some years, like, or whatever. I'm not a legend or anything like that, but I have been participating in things, like I said, since I was 15.
Wow.
I go to balls sometimes for fun. I'm heavily into like museums, adult arcades. Like I love the range. I love like guns.
Yes, I hear you.
I love the shooting range. I'm a big fan of boxing. So I'm always either watching boxing matches or anything that has to do with that. I'm a outdoorsy kind of person. I love nature and like flowers and water. So I love books. I love going to the pier. Danger Zone. I don't know if you ever heard of that. That's like one of my favorite places. It's like you go there and it's like you tear stuff apart with the axe.
Oh my God.
It's like the best adrenaline rush, the best like everything, like whatever you feeling, you let it out in that moment on whatever it is. It's like the best thing to do. So I do a lot of things like that or whatever.
You know what's so funny? And I'm just gonna say this because it's so funny. I noticed that some of the most masculine men love ballroom. Some of the most masculine men. Now you see a plethora of other representations of feminine, pretty, femme queens and all of this other stuff, and runway and a sex siren and this is that and the other. So, but yeah, you wouldn't even like. It's so funny because I always, when there's a clip or something like that, I'll look at the audience of ballroom and I'm like, you would never think he would be there. You never think he would be there. You never.
Right.
And be up in there, yes, sir, down. Like, and I'm like, wow. Like, so it just is a testament of how that scene has really captured the world's attention. So
Yes.
kudos to that, and kudos to everything else that you like, museums and tearing things apart with an axe and shooting things that move and don't move. So yeah, being outdoorsy, I heard it all. Do you work out at all?
Yes.
You do?
I'm
Okay.
always at the gym. Like
Okay.
being modeling has kind of like implemented that in my life without me really wanting. I never was really a big gym head, but
Yeah.
with modeling, you want to make sure that you look your best. So I've kind of just kept that in my regimen of making sure I go to the gym 3 times a week, 2 times a week.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll crowd it into a whole week and then I'll go the next week. Like, but yeah, the gym is a major part of my life. Fitness, eating healthy, that's like my thing.
Yeah. Now, were you fortunate enough to bypass the gatekeepers? What I'm asking is, did you do it the traditional way, go to a modeling agency, get a booker, or did you, be out somewhere and a photographer said, I want to take pictures of you, and you kind of get it? Because there's different ways to get into modeling. Which way?
Honestly, I've been wanting to model since I was 7.
Right.
To start.
Right.
But I started modeling because I was in a relationship with someone who was a designer.
Okay.
And I didn't even tell them that I wanted to model. Because I didn't want them to think like we had just met each other. So I didn't want them to think like, oh, I'm using you for what you're doing.
Right.
But they was like, you're so handsome, why don't you model? And then we got into that conversation, and then they had a show coming up. And I actually walked my first runway show for them.
Oh.
So ever since then, like at first, I didn't know what I was doing, to be very honest. And this is New York City. No one really tells you, oh, this is the route to go. Or I had to kind of figure it out by myself and go. And then thank God for Instagram. I always say like Instagram is a major help, especially like in the early like 2000s when everybody was trying to like figure it out, like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
So at that time is when I would see different models and see them post things, and I would like ask questions, and I would reach out to photographers. And that's how it came about.
Yeah.
But I've had more success not being signed.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that getting signed is like a big thing, and it probably is. I would love that blessing if it's right. But for me, I've gotten paid a lot more, and I've gotten a lot more exposure. And I feel like I'm still getting to the heap of it now that I'm not like signed.
No, I know many models that were signed, including myself, and we were shelved. Because we were Black, so we were put on a shelf and we did not get work. I remember, having to call my agency and call my agency and call my agency to get work. And I remember they finally called me. Now this is in Paris. They finally called me and they're like, "Oh, we have a job for you." And then they asked me, how old are you? And I said, I'm 22 years old. And they told me I was too old and hung up.
It's a very dog-eat-dog world.
Yes, thank you. It's competitive. So what I did was, it was so crazy because what I ended up doing was I went to a modeling agency, still trying to do it the traditional way, find a booker. And I went to to one agency twice and they didn't want to see me again. And they tore me a new one and they made me cry. And actually I left crying. I didn't cry in front of them, but I cried when I got in the elevator. And then when I came downstairs, there was a beautiful Black woman, French woman in the shop across the way. And she saw me and she beckoned me to come, and I started talking to her, and she's like, "You're an American and you came all the way to Paris by yourself." And I did. So, and she's like, "I think I have someone that can help you." And God rest his soul, he's gone. He left here last year, but his name was Ernest Collins. He was also a Black man and a top fashion photographer, the second top fashion, because of course the first one had to be white. So the top second photographer in Paris was Black, and it was Ernest Collins at that time. And I remember she gave me his number. I called him, and then when I went to see him, of course I couldn't afford him. I'd spent everything to get there. So it was a beautiful thing because I've been speaking like this forever. So we sat down and we had a conversation, and I just did what I do. And he said to me, he said, "Come back, get a pair of jeans, a white t-shirt, and come back tomorrow." So I said to him, I said, "Mr. Collins, I cannot afford your time." And he said, "I didn't say anything about affording my time." He said, "One day you're going to be famous." He said, "And I want the opportunity to have you in my book." And
that was beautiful.
Yes. And he launched my career. And in that moment, what was that? The week after we shot, I got signed to 3 agencies in one day.
People don't realize stories like that is like models. We look like we're like kind of like, oh my God,
Yes.
like, if it happened, like it
Yes.
could happen. Like those kind of stories make you feel like that, because I think
Yes.
we all kind of have that in our head. Like
Yes.
hopefully somebody will see me, or we'll sit down and they'll
Yes.
get it. Like, like they will get it.
Yes, but you know what? After I got signed, because I got signed on his name, they asked me who took these photos, and I said Ernest Collins. I said okay, and they gave me the contract. And I'm so glad I was young, because oh my God, I didn't even read the contract. I was so upset. I was so excited. I signed it. I don't know what the hell I signed, and it was like, oh my God, so many years had to go by before I could be active again, because I didn't know what the hell I signed. So I'm just telling the truth. I was young and green and eager, and now I mentor people and tell them not to be that green and eager. I'm like, no, I'll take your time. But
I've had situations like that, but I'm glad that I've stuck to, like I said, I love kind of not being signed to anybody, because I've had a chance to, I feel like I've seen models that are signed and they don't really get to develop themselves.
Right.
It's kind of like,
whatever
we see you, you're beautiful, we're going to send you here. And then once they get tired of that, you're shelved, or they don't deal with you. And then you're like, well, what did I do? Well, what could I have fixed? And there probably was some growth in there, but nobody sat and developed it with you. So I feel like I've kind of got to learn how to pose, and what's right for me was not right for me. I've learned how to change my whatever, so that way it matches what I want people to see and things like that. So I feel like that has came from me being not signed and me just watching and paying attention and applying it to myself. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's always good. And my thing is, what people don't understand is you are models. Even then, even with a booker, you're your own entrepreneur. You're your own business.
Right.
It's up to you. Models freak out when they hear that they're responsible for their own photos and all of these other things. And if the agency pays for it, they take it out of your check when you get it. And they don't know all of that stuff. And net 30, net 60, net 90. So if you're net 90 and you got to wait 3 months for your check, how you gonna pay your rent for the next 3 months? So
2 months,
it can catch you. So yeah, it can be good if you can get in and just keep working, get in there. I had some friends where they were being booked by fashion show producers, and the producers were like, okay, like we're paying you, but you got to be signed to an agency if you want us to book you the next time. And them trying to get signed was crazy. And they're like, look, so they went on and they became actors. Now they're beautiful, brilliant actors in Hollywood. So yeah.
That's what most of us do.
Yeah, I was going to say there's more than one way in. There's more than one way in. So, okay, modeling. You already told me what your interests are: athleticism, guns, axes, and things like that. So you also hinted at the fact when I was saying I keep my circle very small. Do you have like a friend circle that you can trust? Or are they like well, you're a very
I have a very tight-knit circle. I've always been like that. I wasn't really somebody who was raised around having a lot of friends. We bounced around a lot. So I've always been very like, all I need is 2 or 3 and I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I have 3 male best friends and I have 2 female best friends.
Yeah.
And that is completely it. I have like associates and people that I like keep in contact with or whatever because of like history. But other than that, I like my circle very small. I like to be able to know I could trust the people within my circle, and they do what we need each other to do. We support each other. We motivate each other. We laugh at each other. We do whatever. Like they get in my ass when I need it. So I appreciate that. I feel like we're supposed to have that in life. Yeah. People who don't get in your ass when you need it.
Yeah, it sounds like they're family. It sounds like they're
pretty much. They're more like family. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic because I just recently started dating one of my dearest friends. It's been 20 years and I started dating. Yeah, we loved each other. We met each other 20 years ago in New York. And we finally just started dating each other 20 years later. And, he was one of my dearest friends.
Your foundation it's already solid. So it's not much. Yeah. Y'all gotta really.
We're a weird couple. And we're going to share more about that because I'm doing an expose next week. So I'm not going to give it away here. But we're a weird couple, but we fire and fire. So we're very closely knit. So yes. So to the idea of, just modeling things like that, have you ever thought about designing?
What's crazy is I can draw, but I never wanted to design. I never wanted to design. I think I had the thought like once. And I thought like I was going to be like Karl Lagerfeld. And I had this whole like fantasy in my head. And then reality hit me. You don't have patience. You only like really dressing yourself. You're
Right.
not gonna you're not about to sit here and make clothes for people.
Right.
Like just put them on and model them and make them look nice. That's what you're good at doing. Just do that. So no, I've never but I don't think it would be far from something that I would do, especially now at this point in my life. I'm so like things that I used to be like, no, I'm not gonna do it now. I'm like, why not? Like, you know, you can do it. Like, go ahead and do it. Like, why not? So
Yeah.
who's to say? It may be in the near future. It may be closer than what I think, but I wouldn't axe it out all the way.
Yeah. So tell me, son of Aphrodite, do you make music?
No, I
Okay.
don't. That's the only thing that I don't do.
Okay. Listen, it's not a bad thing. I just,
No, I know.
yeah, it's not a bad thing. So, I'm just feeling you out because my thing is what I'm listening for is like, backup plans, and other
Oh
things that you
yeah.
can do while you're in the industry. Because from New York, I was all the way in Paris and I met the editor of Essence Magazine, fashion editor of Essence Magazine. And I spoke to her and we exchanged, well, she gave me her business card. And then I went home and I wrote her an email and thanked her for her business card and becoming a connection. And she read my email, it was a couple of lines. And she said to me, "You write very beautifully." And I said, "Thank you." And she said, "You could be a freelance fashion journalist. You've seen these shows just like I've seen these shows." So I was like, and I had never thought about that. And that wasn't the part that really got me. What got me was that she said, if you want to rise a respected opinion in this business, you have to use every talent that you have. So me, I sing, I modeled, I can even take pictures. Like I take my own pictures. So, I dress myself, I put things together. Like I have the design in me. So,
Right.
but she taught me, you got to use everything. Like even with my Empire as the Queen of Shade, there's a lot of acting, there's a lot of script writing, there's a lot of things, besides just the dresses and the ensembles and things like that. So I'm basically firing on all cylinders. And it's just, you don't have to do that, but it's just give yourself enough room to be able
do it.
If you have to pivot, you can pivot,
Right.
Okay. So how tall are you? Because I want to know if you've had people be mean to you and say, "Oh, well, you're not tall enough to model."
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
So I'm a little, most people from social media, they would think that I'm much bigger than what I am.
Yeah.
And then they see me in person, they're like, "You're little." And I'm like, well, duh. I know, but at first I got that extremely a lot, and it was a little discouraging at first.
Yes.
Because I would go to castings and go-sees, and I would literally be standing next to guys I look like their little brother standing next to them because they're like 6'5", and they're probably like only 19 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting up like this. But then I think after COVID happened, there was like this like weird shift that happened where a lot of models that look like me in general were starting to be noticed.
Yes.
And people were starting to look at them. And I was starting to see not even just Black models, like whether you were Asian, Filipino, whatever, different looks started to pop out.
Yeah.
Different things you start to see people like are gratifying now, and they're like loving, and they're like, "Oh, this is dope." And I started to see a lot of short models.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, like, a lot of these models are short, but they don't have anything else besides being short. I can do this.
I got the body. I got the body.
Yeah,
all of this.
I can do this. I can do this. Right. So once I started to see that, it took the discouragement away. And now, like, I look at it, like I told you when we first like introduced each other, I'm 5'8", but my presence is 6 foot. Yes. I could walk in the room and demand energy just like anybody else who's taller than me or big, whatever the case is. I could demand the same amount of attention as anyone else could. Yeah. So it doesn't matter about that. It's like, what do you see and what could I put out there that's different from everyone else? To me, that's what it's about.
It must be amazing to see you walk.
Where I keep my head at.
It must be amazing to see you walk. You probably have a lot of confidence.
Yes, I did it, and my walk sucked at first.
You see, I like you. You're telling the truth.
Yeah, my walk sucked at first. I had no I was told very early on, you have a face. So at first I got stuck in that. And it was just like, okay, I'll only just take selfies and I'll just show how handsome I am. And started to realize, so it's just like, it was a lot of discouragement, but now I've learned like none of that matters. It's about what you know how to do and what you can put forth and
Yeah.
what energy you're bringing to also like, so I make sure I just pay attention to that. Like me being short does not mean anything to me.
Good,
Like,
good. And that's my thing. Good, because, you know, we don't put this out there enough, but there are exceptions to the rules, especially in entertainment. Lots, listen, not just one or two. There are lots and lots and lots of exceptions. Most people that are successful in Hollywood, in fashion, they've been told no so many times that they just kept going because they knew they were getting closer to a yes. Like, that's why literally you ask them, why'd you keep going? They said, well, they told me no. Somebody was bound to tell me yes. Like, literally.
Right.
So
and I love no. I've gotten no a lot to where now it's like when I hear no, I'm like, oh whatever. I'm gonna change your mind. Cause it's like it doesn't bother you or affect you the way that it probably did in the beginning because you're so new, you hungry, you like, oh, I need this, but then you realize, no, I don't need it right now. I probably didn't need it. I need it probably now. I need it. So let me do what I gotta do. So it's all a mind juggle on how you deal with it.
Yeah, get this. And I'm gonna segue. What is that fabulous thing behind you on the wall?
Wait, the picture?
Yes.
That's me.
Is it?
Yes, that's me.
That is absolutely fabulous.
Yes, that is me. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Is that like, you can put that up there kind of as your background? Oh, you chose it as your it is fabulous. Who took that?
Actually, my best friend takes them. Most of my photos, if I don't take them myself, my best friend does. It's like my creative like partner, like that's like my Joe Beam Simone. Like
yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And that's what I love. I love to hear people that are determined to have their life and live their life, no matter what other people say, because I think in the world, especially in the world of entertainment, too many people listen to what other people have to say. And it really has nothing to do with what anybody thinks or says, because I mean, right off the top of my head, Simon Cowell told Jennifer Hudson she'd never be anything. And then she left American Idol and won an Oscar. So she shot past.
And now she's an EGOT winner.
Yes, exactly. Now she's an EGOT. So it's like, you know, like I love when they don't expect it. And honestly, it happened in my life. They didn't expect it. They didn't expect me to come with such a fire and a fury. And it took me 20 years to do it. Yeah, it did.
I felt that. It was the same. I was the little boy that nobody besides my mom, nobody believed in me. Nobody thought like he would amount to too much or none of that. So I dealt with that my whole life. And then coming into modeling and then things like that, people from day one, you don't look like a model. You're too short. You're a little too rough around the edges. It was always something here and there, but I knew deep down, like, you got something. Like, you know it. You just don't exactly know what it is or how to place it, but you know you have it. And I'm glad that I followed that voice in my head and in my heart because it's got me to here, to where I'm, like, confident in myself. And now I have other guys that are younger than me. They're like, oh, I want to be a model because of you. And I don't even think I'm where I really want to be yet. But the fact that someone sees me to be there is like, I'm gonna keep going a little extra harder just for both of us now. Like, so that's how I look at things. Like, I don't listen to nothing that no one tells me, especially if it's negative.
You know what's so funny? What I hear from you, a lot of models are taught how to speak. A lot of models are taught to have personality because you need it. So, and you have it. And what I love is it sounds like you forged it yourself because you knew you would need it. So my question to you now is, you know, they always say in the industry that you need to be a trifecta. It's music, it's fashion, it's acting. For you, I want to ask you specifically about acting because you have the word is emote. You emote so beautifully when you speak. You have a lot of expression in you. And a lot of actors have that. You're captivating us, you know, while you're talking because you have such conviction and such confidence, but yet such humility. It's not over the top. It's not insecurity being disguised by arrogance as strength, you know, weakness being disguised as strength. It's not that at all. You're just you're well-spoken. And I'm not saying that like that, you know, like other people would say about Black people, oh, you're well-spoken. No. You have a personality, and personalities have done more for people in this world than the actual rules and regulations ever will.
Agreed.
So acting, have you ever thought about acting?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Besides modeling, acting has. I grew up watching movies, going to the movies every Friday after school with my mom, and
Yeah.
on Saturdays. We used to sneak back in the days, like sneaking like 2 or 3 movies at a time.
Yeah.
Like I would study films, actors. Like at like 10, I knew who like Meryl Streep and uh Greta Garbo and Betty Ford and
Oh,
Joan Crawford. I knew who they were. Like, and a lot of little boys, well, a lot of little black boys did not know who that was. When I was
yes.
growing up. They didn't know who that was. So I've always been into that. And now that I'm older, it was something that I wanted to tap into, but I was psyching myself out for the longest.
Yeah.
And then up in like till 2 years ago, I just got this streak of confidence and I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I actually have 2 roles that I'm gonna be starring in. The filming for one starts in August and then the other starts in the fall in September. So I'm excited. And I have 2 starring roles in both. So, and I'm the main
Congratulations.
character in both as well. Thank you. I'm excited.
Congratulations. And see, okay, now you see, I'm sitting here and I'm going off of your energy and I'm like, oh, this would be perfect for him. This would be perfect for him. And you're like, you're automatically hitting me with,
Yeah.
yes, I do this. And yes, this is right. This is me.
Yeah, I'm getting into it. And I'm excited about that because people never seen me in that light. Even like to speak, I know most people are gonna watch this interview and be like, he can talk because I don't really like I keep to myself. If you know me, then you know the type of vibe I am. But other than that, people will be like, I don't know, or I'm not sure. So I know people are gonna watch this and be like, oh, he really talk. So that's crazy that he can talk. So yeah, I'll be acting and things like that. I'm excited.
Well, I'd like to thank you because you're talking and that's good. That's good. I'm glad that you're talking. I'm glad. So you've already told us your hobbies. You've already told us that you're very, versed in fashion and film. It's so amazing. Now I'm going to ask, have you ever thought about music? Because you write poetry. It's very easy to be a songwriter if you write poetry. I started writing poetry before I started writing my music. So that kind of comes hand in hand.
I think I would probably be like some sort of record producer of anything because I'm really good with harmonies and keys and picking up melodies. I could listen to a song and learn the words as I'm like for the first time. So I'm really good with that. My best friend, actually, he's into music. He's been trying to get me to do a song with him, and I've been putting it off because of nerves, because he actually does music.
Yeah.
So it's my nerves is telling me, but he says it all the time. Like, no, you could do it if you actually just try to do it.
Yeah.
You could actually do it. So,
well, listen,
again, I'm not far from it. I'm at this place in my life where I'm like, why not do it? Like
I was getting ready to say, I said, well, listen, you have all of this confidence. You might as well go for it. You get ready to star in 2 films. You get ready to star in 2 films. I'm like, you might as well just go ahead and do the song. And see what happens. See what happens. And literally see what happens. I like that a lot. What does your mother think about all of your interest in fashion and film? And
my mother thinks I am she always says that I'm unique.
Yeah.
My mother, a lot of people don't know, my mother is born in the 50s.
Okay.
So my mother is a lot older than most people my age's moms. My mother is like almost 70 years old. Wow. So I was raised a lot different.
Yeah.
And even modeling, acting, to her it was like, those are hobbies, Coran. Those are not real things that you like. And then my mother's West Indian. So to her, that wasn't, but now that I'm older and I think she sees how it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And she seems like it's allowed me to grow up a lot and be a lot more comfortable in myself than I was growing up. I think she sees that. So she embraces it. She doesn't really understand it because of the generational difference, which is fine, but she respects it and she loves that I'm happy doing it. So that's what I take. She always tells me, like, how's your picture? Send me your pictures. I want to see. You're so beautiful. Let me see. So that makes me feel good. She's been calling me that since I was like a kid, her beautiful boy. So that makes me feel good.
Oh, I love that. Get this. My grandmother is going to be 75 in October. Your mother waited for you. You were special.
Yeah, my mother had me at 40 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were definitely a prayer. You were the last stop on the train.
Pretty much.
It's like choo-choo. Like that's it. We pull into the station. That's it.
Yeah, that was a local train.
Yeah. So I already said this. You were raised by all women, so I know you have a lot of nieces and nephews and things like that. So family orientation is definitely big to you. You value your family, right?
Yeah, I love them.
Do they support, besides your mother, do they also lend their support for what you do?
For the most part, they do what they can.
Okay.
For the most part, they do what they can. They are supportive. We don't speak probably as much as we all supposed to. My sister has kids and they own
Right.
businesses and things like that. But for the most part, the support is there.
Yeah, but
Support is
that's the West Indian way of life.
Yeah, the support
Money,
is most definitely there.
money, 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 money,
Yeah,
and more money. And
exactly.
but you know what? That also pays homage and attribute. We can attribute why you are the way that you are because you're West Indian. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
like you come from like hard workers. You know, let's get this. You come to America. This is the big dream, and you were born here.
Mhm.
So you know, it's like this is the big
Yeah.
dream. Do you ever have you ever traveled outside of the United States?
Yes, I've been to Trinidad, like not recently, but as a kid, that was mostly where we went.
Okay.
For if we did go on vacation, that's mostly like where I went and
Okay.
things like that. But yes, other than that, not really much so.
Yeah.
But I'm actually excited because pretty soon from now, I'll be going to UK with my best friend for the first time. So I'm excited about that because
Ah,
I've always wanted to go there. So that's like in my head, I'm like the Spice Boys mixed with like David Beckham. So
yeah.
I feel like I need to go there so I could be around my people because I feel like in my head I'm from
Yeah,
there.
I get it. I get. Listen, that's how I feel about Paris. So
Yeah, like
yeah. I think you do well there too. Yeah.
yeah, I would love to. I would love that. It would be so different, but it would be the right kind of different.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that is just so beautiful. And I love when we start traveling. Traveling is something that I recommend every person, not just our color, but every person, if they can do it because it allows you to realize that the world is much larger. And when that happens, you realize that when you see two people arguing or when someone wants to goat you into an argument, you don't argue anymore because you're like, baby, there's beautiful things out here in the world. I don't have time
Right.
to, sit and banter with you like that.
Right.
That's what it does for you.
Yeah, it's a lot more important.
Yes, like that life is important. So, like you said, you're almost 30. You're modeling, that's good. And you're also breaking into film. That's also good. So, what do you see will be like where do you see yourself in about 5 years? Do you see yourself still in the industry or
Still in the industry, wealthy.
yeah. Well, listen.
Wealthy. I have never really wanted to be famous,
Yeah,
as
I
you would
get
say,
you.
like especially like now in this day and age, who what does fame really mean?
Yeah,
So I've never really wanted that. I've always just wanted to be extremely successful in whatever it is I decided to do as far as the
yeah,
industry. So whether it was modeling, acting, whatever, I just always wanted to be extremely successful in that
yeah,
and flourish in that and make it my own. But wealthy, financial stability is
yeah,
what I look for to grow more in my field as
yeah,
well. Like I would love to get the credit for it, but that doesn't really matter to me. As long as I know like that people that are on the inside know what's going on, I'm fine.
yeah,
Like I don't need any of that. I don't need the gratification. I don't need any of that. I just want to be able to just do what I love, to be very honest,
yeah.
and keep it going like for a long, long,
For a
long
long, long
time.
time. You actually brought my next question up. So content creating, what's your content look like and how does it come about?
um, my content is honestly, I feel like my content is the most original because
Yeah,
it's only based on things that I love, things that I'm interested in, things that I'm inspired by,
yeah,
people I'm inspired by. Like I could look at things and come up with a whole vision of a concept for a shoot.
yeah,
Then with my best friend, our minds are like, he's a Taurus, I'm a Virgo. So it's
yeah,
like we work perfect. We're
yeah,
adding, I may miss something, he may miss something, or we may add it at the right time. He's good
yeah,
with details, I'm good with detailing. So it works perfectly. So that's how my concept where it comes from for me. A lot of it is pop culture and I love gritty stuff and a little dark, and I love
yeah,
extremely pretty stuff. I grew up playing with dolls,
yeah,
so dolls are a major inspiration in my aesthetic and
yeah,
how I carry myself. Hence my hair, like I think I'm
yeah.
a Bratz doll. So it all makes sense. It all makes sense when it comes to my content, my photos, me. it's all a certain vibe that I'm trying to give. I've been like this for years.
But you know what? I love that you have a strong sense of self and you're not changing yourself to get ahead. You're just being yourself and you're amplifying it. And I love it. And I actually found that picture that's behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that picture. That's a lovely picture. That's from Instagram. No, that's a lovely picture. Oh, but I love this one even more. So get this. I think this is a ball. And you're just standing here like, and you can tell even here, you're in your own little world.
Oh yeah, I had just walked too. That was when I walked Pretty Boy Honest. Yeah.
Like you literally are just in your own little world. Like I love whoever captured it because you just like
like let's get it over with.
Right? No, that's so fun. That's so much fun. So moving on. Give me, if you could have anything in the world, because you said success, but if you could have anything, something that money couldn't buy, what would it be?
Not much, right?
No. Reason why I asked is because Virgos and Libras were very monetarily driven.
Yeah,
we like,
that's right.
We like what that coin look like.
Yeah, like what is this going to do for me?
So that's why I had to throw it at you. Like, okay, if money couldn't buy it, what would it be?
That is extremely hard because
I got you.
Everything money couldn't buy. I would just have to say love.
Yeah.
Like, no funny, love, especially, I don't know, like I could be a little mushy sometimes, but I just feel like the kind of world we live in is like, people are so mean and so rude and so like, for no reason. And I used to understood where that came from, being from New York, because most people here are like that for no reason.
Yeah.
But especially within the last couple of years, it seems like being angry and being like a mean person is like the thing. It's like a trend. And it seems like people don't know how to just like be lovable and just be like goofy and just show love and just, you know, so I want that. That's all that I really want. Like, I don't really need anything else. Like money and all of that, like you said, that comes, all of that, but it also goes. But I just want love. I just want to feel loved. Like, especially within my life, I lacked a lot of that prior. So I try to make sure that I'm only surrounded by just that. Like, and if it does not feel like that, I do not want it around me.
Yeah. You're like a Care Bear with your little sign on your heart. I care. I care.
Yeah.
Your chest lights up. It's like, I care. I care. Yeah. But no, that's good. I'm glad you had something that money couldn't buy. But let me tell you this. Money can buy love too.
I know.
Money can buy love too.
Got enough of it.
Trust me. You got enough of it. You can buy any love you want. They'll love you any way you want. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, money can buy everything. Okay, I always say money doesn't buy happiness. Well, it damn sure buys the things that'll make you happy.
That's a damn truth.
So it's just really funny. I'm having fun with you. You're a very open, very free-spirited person, and that is to your credit. Because, you know, it's unfortunate because I do a lot of work with African American and Latin men. That's my thing. I've been doing it since 2003. I'm always shining the light on us. I'm always, you know, picking us up and putting them on my page and talking to them, you know, making sure the world truly sees us, because the world has the propensity to compartmentalize a Black man and break him down, you know, where I'm going, into only a few parts. And usually those few parts are between his legs, and it's not fair. It's not fair
at all.
So I love when we get someone like you, and all of them, every single Black and Latin man that I've spoken to has been so gracious and so kind and, you know, so honest about life. And, you know, I love those things. And I really must say that I really admire your openness, you know, because that's the thing. And I think, you know, and a lot of men, they're like, Black men they have it. They have the capacity to have it, but I think they care too much about what everybody is saying over their shoulder. But like you said, yeah, we all do. But you also had a mother of a particular age that always called you her beautiful boy. So
it was always reassured to me.
Yeah.
Whenever I forgot, it was always like my mother
Yeah.
would tell me to pray.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, is a lot of times we have it and don't realize that we have it. And then
Yeah.
it's also like we're not around the right people who bring
Yeah.
it out in me.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that.
Yeah.
So because I've been hearing for years, you have this light and I have
You
this.
do.
And for the longest, I did not know what people were talking about.
Right.
I would be like, okay, my skin is nice. Okay, you saying I have this light. Okay, but I had to dig deeper and realize like, you have this thing where you make people feel comfortable and you make people feel like they are being seen. And
Yeah.
some people cannot do that. I've had conversations with people and I felt like they didn't understand me at all.
Yeah.
So I completely understand how it feels to feel that way. So it's like now that I'm older and like I said, I've been through things in life, they've kind of made me realize like, no, know your worth. Know that you are valuable and know that you demand this and you want this and that confidence that you got, like stand up on it, stand on it and be in that. So ever since I started thinking that way, it has helped me a lot. I've never been this confident at all.
Yeah, I feel you and I understand you. And part of your content creating, have you ever thought about like a podcast or something or a YouTube channel where you talk?
I actually have a podcast. It's called As Told by
Okay, then
Cameron. It's on
that's it.
YouTube.
What's the name of your podcast? Get it right now. Plug it right
It's
now.
As Told by Cameron is on YouTube.
Okay. What's it called again? Say it again, because you got a New York. You got a New York.
As Told by Cameron. As Told by Cameron is inspired by. Have you ever seen As Told by Ginger that used to come on Nickelodeon?
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, it's inspired by that, like the title and the theme of it. But I talk about a lot of different things. It's a lot more me. I'm a lot more honest on there. Like I say, I talk my shit. It is what it is. But I love it. It's a different way for me to express myself, and I've never done that until now. But people love it, so that's why I'm like, okay, I'll keep it going then.
Don't worry, I'm going to put it in the description section under the video so that we'll be able to find all your links and all the stuff that is important so that we can get into you. Because honestly, yeah, like it's so, but see, this is the thing that I want people to understand. This is why I do what I do, especially with Black and Latin men. We are some talent. I'm just going to say it. It's my show. We are some talented motherfuckers.
Absolutely.
There's no way to there's no other way to say that. Like I said again, we are some talented motherfuckers. We are so talented. And that's the thing. Like we, sometimes the world does that. The world tries to put a price on whether or not you make it or not. But many of us have just been doing our thing. And because of the internet and because of social media, a lot of us are getting ahead without having to go to the machine and just be able to do our thing and actually make good money from it. Like it's just like I mentor people. I had a mentor call this morning and I'm like, oh, thanks. The money hit my Cash App. I'm like, oh, yes, thank you. But I did my job because I did what I was innately able to do.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's not a stretch for you to be who you are. It's not a stretch for me to be who I am. People say to me all the time, and I say this for consumption purposes because I want them to understand me. So I say all the time, I'm a trans illusionist, but I'm two-spirited. This is, and this is the thing. People were doing that in the beginning. I am not a gag. I am not a joke. I am not something you laugh at. Coming out of this mouth is fire. Okay. So, I'm not a novelty. So I had to really work to get people to understand and see that. And once I did, because I was able to do that, then the respect came and then all these other opportunities started coming my way. But I am definitely not no. None of us are. None of us, Black creators, Black thought leaders, Black inventors, we are not novelty acts. We are not jokes. Like we are very serious about what we do because the great thing about us is we have the propensity and the ability to put our experiences out in the world our way. Right. And that is always a very, very, very great thing. And now, like I said, because of the internet and social media, we're getting paid for it.
Exactly.
Paid for it. And it's just like, oh my God. Like it's amazing. The machine is upset. The machine is upset because
the machine is highly upset.
Let me tell you, they're very upset because who's getting ahead? Black people.
Yeah, well,
Black people.
We're surpassing whatever thought they had. Yeah,
they're looking at us and stealing ideas.
Absolutely. Like
Listen,
like it's so funny. I used to look at models and be like, they're so boring. And you know what's funny is that I would see the most, and it's not a black thing or a white thing. It's just
right,
being honest.
right,
You see a lot of the white models, and you see a
yes,
lot of the black models. The
right,
black ones are always a lot more interesting. But
yeah,
then you look at them and you say, wow, yeah, they're beautiful, but they're okay to show their personalities. They
yeah,
don't mind showing you that they smile, that
yes,
they're corny a little bit. Now,
yes,
like I even had a friend, he wanted to get into modeling, and he was like, do I have to be boring? Do I have no, most models are boring. Show
yeah,
your personality, show people that outside of you being extremely beautiful or whatever, that you are somebody they would want to be around. Most I've met a lot of models.
yeah,
Besides them being beautiful, you don't want to be around them because it's like there's no personality there. But now I try to tell anybody who asks me like, how do I do it or what do I do? Be yourself. Use I've gotten gigs just based off of me just being me. They
yeah,
didn't even see my walk. They didn't even see if I could really fit the clothes. They just was like, oh, I like your vibe. Come through. Let's see what we can do for you. And I've had whole shoots dedicated to me. So it's
yeah.
all on how you put yourself out there and then also like be yourself, as you said. Like be yourself.
In defense of the models, because I was one. Listen, it's get it. What people don't understand is that when you show up to an event to wear clothing, it's very serious. So
Yeah,
you don't see the
right. You don't see
personality
that.
because they've actually come to do a job. So it's not the place because get this, the rich, though models are hangers, because that's what we are, we're
Yeah.
hangers. They want the most classy, the most exquisite hangers. And I used to
Mhm.
have a problem with that too, because I'm like, you people are sick. You know, you,
Yeah.
you want
And that was
a
my thing.
conveyor
Like,
belt of living hangers. Like, but
yeah.
you know, it is what it is. And you know, it was so crazy because when I first started, I too thought, let me just be quiet. They say I have a face, I have this bone structure. They tell me I should wear the women's clothing. I have an amazing walk. I've always had it. I walk it even when I'm going to the dumpster. My neighbor,
Hmm.
I had on a robe the other day and I'm just taking my trash to the dumpster. And my neighbor comes out of her house. She said, you better walk to that dumpster like that. And I'm like, it caught me by surprise. I just, because I was in my head minding my business. And I
Hmm.
was like, who, me? And she was like, yes, yes, you look fabulous. And I'm just like, wow, you know? So in defense, they come to do a job and get it.
Yeah.
It's actually not fun. It's not fun. And that's the
But
thing. Like it
I tell
can't,
people that all the time. They think
yeah,
modeling is so
yeah,
much
it's
fun. I
not.
think the
No,
most fun that models have is
the job.
probably on set.
Yeah, like I
Like,
get
cause
it
we can,
before they go
right.
out there because they sip the champagne and do all that stuff
Yeah.
with the designer if the designer is cool.
Yeah.
But even if you see them though, even when they do documentaries, they're behind stage and they're nervous because
Yeah. It's like you don't know what to expect.
and listen, you don't want to fall, you don't want to trip, you don't want to do any
You
of those.
don't want to look crazy. You don't want to make the wrong
Right.
face. Right.
Right.
On camera.
Forget
Like,
it. Legendary model, Naomi Campbell. She said that she got into doing her own foundation because they would get the wrong skin color. She was like,
mhm.
y'all not gonna make me look crazy. I
Right.
do this and then y'all build on top of the foundation. And
Right.
you
I've
know,
done that before. I've brung my own makeup to shoots before to spot
yes,
myself because no,
yes, yes. And
especially if it's like a person, someone who doesn't know how to deal with African American
African
skin.
American
I'd
skin.
rather you don't touch me at all and
Yes.
just tell me what you want, and I'll do it. And if it needs to be touched up, we'll work around it. But I
Yes.
don't play like that.
Yes.
No.
You're not gonna make me look like a clown. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Honey gray.
it can be, and the thing is they do have fun, but it's just that job that people don't understand. That job is a very difficult job. There are requirements for that job. And honestly, I would never go back. Like I have like now that I am who I am 20 years
Hmm.
later, I have friends that are in fashion in other parts of the world who send me priceless couture and do those things. But like if I modeled today in any country, I would model as myself and see because I am myself and I've built myself to be myself, I would tell them when I'm walking out. Now, mind you, I'm not demanding, but I would tell them because I would do my own face. It took me 6 years to do this face. So I would do my face and my hair and I'd let them know, no, listen, when I hit the runway, because I am not just one of these hangers, I'm modeling as me, I'm a personality. play my song. I want one of my songs to be playing while I walk. So
No funny.
you know,
No funny.
right? Like no funny at all. Like I want
Yeah.
my music to be playing because you hired me for me and not to
Right. So
be
this needs to be
hanger.
my vibe.
Yes.
Right. This needs to be
Yes.
my vibe, but your
Yes.
way.
And
No
honestly,
problem.
I think I could model if I had those kind of concessions. I couldn't because I can't. I just can't do it the old way. It was very traumatic for me. It was very traumatic for me to try.
No,
I had
I
to
get
come
that.
home. I had to come home from Paris. It was very stressful. It was very, 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 very stressful. And I loved fashion, and I love clothes. Like there, even now, people are like, "Oh, you just put things together, and oh, your looks, and oh, this, and oh, that." Like I have it. I have it. And they always told me I had it, but it's just, it makes me nervous. Makes me
No,
nervous.
it's because it's too much. And then it's
Yeah.
like all of this that you want me to strip away from
Yeah.
me.
Thank you. You
This
said
is
the
not
word.
me anymore. This is not
Yes.
me anymore. And it's like
You
you
said
told
it.
me you were hiring me because you like my look, but you're telling me to take away my hair, my eyes, my lips, my. So what part of me did you exactly like? That's also why I don't want to be signed, because I was told a million and one. First of all, I feel like at a certain age, you don't want to be told what to put on, what to do, just whether you're a model, an actor, whatever. You kind of want to just learn your own vibe and what works for you. And I was in that space where I was getting excited with trying new hair colors and new this. And I realized, okay, this is how you want to present yourself. If a modeling agency cannot see this and like it, then I don't need to be with you then. Like, but now I see guys with colored hair, and I see guys that are signed with blonde hair, and they're doing this. And I used to, black guys don't get blonde hair, and now I see nothing but black guys in blonde hair.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I've been on this wave. So okay, I get it.
But you know what, too? They're also trying to reflect the times. Because, modeling, the fashion industry has to, because they too have to sell clothing.
Exactly.
And there's a lot, their buyers aren't just the ones in the seats anymore. That's why fashion buyers go to the shows and they buy for Neiman Marcus, they buy for Saks, they buy for Macy's, they buy so that they can bring it to the public. So you need to reflect the public so that the public is interested. So yeah, oh my God, this has been so amazing. I must say, Coran, son of Aphrodite, that I am pleasantly surprised and very, very excited that we had this conversation.
Me too.
Yes, because I really feel like you're going so far. And you must let me know, because you have my number. So you must let me know when you have your roles, you do your roles, and it's out, because I want to bring you back so we can discuss how it was to be an actor, so that we can.
I would love that. I will.
Yeah, so we can talk about the role, and because then we can hear whether or not acting is crazy for you, or because it's it's just a beautiful thing when we get ahead. It is. We get ahead.
And I appreciate you for allowing me to come up on here. This is my first time ever doing like an interview.
Really?
So you made me feel like important that somebody wants to interview
but
me.
You are important, Black boy.
No, I know. I feel like I'm being seen. So that's like the most amazing thing to me ever. So I genuinely appreciate you. Thank you so much for this.
You are so very welcome.
Thank you so much.
So give me 3 words that inspire you and empower you.
Passion, dedication, allure.
Take your time.
And no, alluring would be my 3rd one.
Okay. Well, yeah, it would have to be alluring now, wouldn't it? Because it has to attract everybody. It has to get everybody through the door. It's like, okay, you've seen it now, come on through the door.
Like, check the material, check the formula.
Right. So now before I go, do you have you might not have your personal URL for YouTube yet, do you?
No, not as of
no problem, but I'll just put the link in. I'll put the link in the bio. So tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
If you want to find me on Instagram, my Instagram is son of Aphrodite _ everything, no spaces. It's all written as one word.
Yes.
And the same for Twitter. And Facebook as well. It's the same name, Son of Aphrodite, on all social media sites. TikTok as well, Son of Aphrodite _ Just follow me.
You know what? You make me mad. Why is this picture so hot? But I do not want to post a thumbnail with your face, facing, away
That is
from
everybody's
them.
favorite picture.
It
right
is. It's a hot
Like,
picture. You look
everybody's
amazing.
favorite
And it's like, I don't want to post a picture of someone and they're not looking at me, because everybody's gonna go, who the hell is that? It might work. It might work because they'll be like, who the hell is that? And maybe they'll go look. But no, I know which one I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna probably choose the one behind you.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
that's the one that everybody saw in the interview, marketing. That's the one we all saw behind you. So it would make sense from just a marketing standpoint for me to post that one. So thank you so much for coming on here and being so open, Black man, and so sharing, because you did me proud today. You really did do me proud.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
So don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of Coran, the son of Aphrodite. He is a content creator, a model, a Virgo, a son of love, sex, and beauty. Yay, say goodbye, but don't go anywhere.
Goodbye, you guys. Later.
So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you